Hey guys, Happy New Year to you all. Hopefully you had a good one last night and your heads are clear as mine. I had quite a few beers yesterday and some wine as well and a couple of liqueurs. I was going to have whiskey, but yeah, I thought I'd draw the line somewhere. Anyway, we are back. We're halfway through with the 12 beers of Christmas, and some people are taking down their trees and all their decorations already, which is crazy. There was someone over the back and they were taking their decorations down on Boxing Day. But do you know what 12th night is? A lot of you apparently have no idea. The 12 days of Christmas, the 12th night is at least the 6th of January. That is traditionally when you should take your decorations down, dear viewer, unless you're royalty, and then you wait until February. And yeah, it's undecided what we're doing, just because I'm really lazy. Anyway, I thought I would start my beer journey for 2025 with a beer that I had the other day, actually. But it's a new year, so it's a new year, new beer. I'll just scrape my watch on the wall here. And I'm going to go with this bad boy here, Punk IPA. And this has gone through a huge amount of changes of late. Where does it say I'm sure it says the ABV somewhere on here. There we go, 5.4% of the ABV. And for those of you that are living in the UK, you'll know that this beer and this brewery were kind of responsible for kicking off the craft beer revolution, perhaps, if that's, yeah, I don't know if that's a good enough term, really. But BrewDog were responsible for making craft beer mainstream, shall we say. But since then, they've become one of the macro brewers. So they've gone from being part of the solution to being part of the actual problem. Anyway, this beer has gone through major changes in its lifetime, and the current hops in here, because it's always had a shed load of hops in. The current hops is a triple C, so it's Chinook, Citra, and Centennial. But we've also got Mosaic, Simcoe, and Artum in here. You can check your BrewDog DIY, and yeah, you will see that it might have changed in the last few years. It's changed about 3 or 4 times. The ABV has also changed. It basically keeps changing. And there's nothing wrong with that, to be honest. But with such a classic beer, I wouldn't be surprised if they release Punk Classic and do it at the 6% or 6.5%, whatever it used to be at, and use the old school hops. I'm pretty sure it was like a West Coast triple C. I think it had other hops in it as well originally, but it has definitely changed. And of course, the availability of hops has changed as well. There we go. Really clear beer. Let's try and get that in there as well. Happy New Beer! There we go. Right, let's have a look at the clarity, because I like doing this for these macro styles. That is a super clear beer. You can see my handsome face through there. And apparently it's just carapils and pale malt in there. Look at that head, a 2-finger head. And this is probably, I don't know, a 300ml glass, maybe a 250ml glass. Very small glass. Right, what have we got? We've got tropical fruit, we've got greenery, we've got citrus, we've got a sweetness there too, which is quite cool. What did I say it was? 5.5? 5.4, that's right. So this beer is, I would say, this is borderline IPA. because IPAs, some people say IPAs don't start until 6%, which is kind of the American style. But I would say anything over 5 for UK is probably, you could class as an IPA. Not the Green King one, obviously. That's under different rules. I do actually quite like that beer. I know, Divya. You don't have to tell me, because I know. But it is, and it was for years, one of the only IPAs you could get in the UK. Like from the 70s onwards, my God. And when I picked it up, I guess late 80s, that was the meaning of an IPA in the UK. That was before America kind of crafted it. Right, let's dive in. Cheers and beers. Happy new beers. Sweet, it's punchy. It's definitely, I would say, definitely resting on the greenery, and that's why the citra's in there. I would be very surprised if this wasn't the most um, the highest ratio in their hop bill, if that's a thing, their hopping. Then everything else plays a bit of second fiddle. The Simcoe's definitely there. I can taste that kind of juiciness. The Mosaic too, giving that tropical kind ofness there. What were the other ones? I'm looking over there because I can read it off my steams. Chinook, and the Centennial. I guess the Centennial, I love Centennial hops, and trying to pick it out from this particular beer is difficult. The Chinook is giving a little bit of berry, but it's giving that greenery as well alongside the Citra. Oh, it's a very sweet beer though. For such a, well, I'm saying such in a inverted commas, such an alcohol beer for a 5.5. It's finished very sweet. Um, so the malts are doing their thing, but perhaps they finished the brewing a little bit too early because they didn't want it to hit 6%. Oh my God! Even though, pardon me, dear viewer, that cough is lingering. My God, um, it was definitely a 6% beer originally, perhaps even stronger. Let's finish this bad boy off. There's going to be a huge head on this thing. There we go. But what do they call it? A post-punk um, beer. Actually, look at that. That's slightly more cloudy than the first one was. So maybe that's some of that Carapils, Cara Munich. You know, it's the kind of wheaty or the more wheaty malt influence, although it isn't wheat as such. It definitely has that wheaty kind of characteristic. Yeah, I wonder if they've done that deliberately. If they've stopped the fermentation, leaving the gravity a little bit high, not much, you know, maybe a few points, just to give it a little bit of sweetness to balance against the hops. Um, like I say, there are a lot of different hops in there. Um, is it a superbly hopped beer? No, it's not obscenely bitter, but it's definitely got a lot of different hops in there to give each of the flavor kind of the flavonoids, the flavor profiles, all that kind of jazz. There is another version that I've got, which is, I'm going to probably have it tomorrow. I did say I was pairing some beers up, but there is this one, which is called Post Punk. And I think that's a slightly, yeah, no, it's the same ABV, but it's got different hops in there. It's a more tropical one. So I'm going to have that one tomorrow as my beer, and we'll see how it compares to the OG, the original Gravity. Oh, lovely beer. I still haven't actually seen the breakdown of my beers yet. They usually do it kind of at the beginning of the year. Maybe they're still calculating, what I've had. But I want to see my total beers. Has it gone up or has it gone down on what I drank last year? Be really interesting to see. Anyway, dear viewer, please take care of yourselves. Hopefully, all your New Year's resolutions are not broken so far. Luckily, mine wasn't to stop drinking. Maybe I'll think about that for next year. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I will be back with another beer review, and that's coming up real soon.